Hi, everybody. Welcome to School of Scarlett. Today, I have another message for you. So, today's message is around why you can't sleep. So, have you been having trouble sleeping lately? Have you maybe been having trouble falling asleep, or maybe you're tossing and turning at night, or you wake up at night and then can't fall back asleep? Maybe you've been having a lot of nightmares and stressful dreams, things like this. Have you been going through that? If you have, give me a thumbs up down below so that I know that you resonate with this message. So, when you're going through an awakening, which I know that you are, you wouldn't be on this channel or listening to this message if you were not. When you're going through an awakening, your soul is really truly awakening to everything. And because of that, your sleep night, when you usually go totally to sleep, is not as restful as you would think because you're coming into awareness of so many different things that maybe you had been resisting for so long. So you really, I know when I had these sleepless nights, I wanted to resist it. I wanted to kind of get frustrated with it and, see what I could do. Did I need to take a sleeping pill? Did I need to take some teas? Did I need to meditate before bed? How could I change my schedule? How could I, have a wind down schedule? And there were so many different things that I tried to do to have restful sleep. And it was one of the most frustrating things that I had ever been through until I realized what I'm going to talk to you about here today. So it got so frustrating that I literally had like this anger going through me because I couldn't sleep. And, I would see other people sleeping and they were so peaceful and snoring, and their snoring just got louder and louder for me. It was so frustrating to me that I couldn't sleep. And, it wasn't until I totally surrendered to the fact that I wasn't going to be able to sleep that I finally started getting the rest that I needed. So I fought sleep for so long, and I don't know about you and how long that had lasted for you, but I can tell you that it almost lasted about a year for me that I fought sleep, that I tried everything to be able to sleep, that, it became very frustrating, and I didn't wish it upon my worst enemy to have a sleep problem like this. I was very, very tired. At the time, I had a very young child. I had a full time job. I had so many different responsibilities that at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was sleep, but I couldn't sleep. And what was happening was that my soul was awakening, that, the awareness within me, consciousness within me was awakening to something else. And because of this, it wasn't like a kind of rest that you would typically think. So the things that would happen at night was, sometimes I would think a lot, other times it just wouldn't be anything at all, but I couldn't sleep. And so I want you to know that until you surrender to the emotions that are coming up, to the frustration around sleep, until you accept the fact that you won't be able to sleep, you're going to really struggle with sleep. So there came a time where I just gave up. I thought to myself, you know what? There's not going to be anything that I can do that will help me to get any sleep at this point. So I just have to accept that I cannot sleep. And so I began to do different things like waking up in the night and watching videos or journaling or working on crafts. I began to do things when I couldn't sleep just because I knew that I couldn't sleep. Other times I would lay there, especially if I was thinking about things, and really process and feel those emotions because there was so much resistance for the longest time within my body against, wanting to totally feel these emotions, that when they would come up at night, it would be a good time, a peaceful time where I was totally with myself to feel this. Now, you see, the nighttime is a great time for you to do these things because there are no distractions. And that's one of the main reasons why you're experiencing trouble sleeping because you see, if your awareness, if the consciousness within you was trying to get you to process these things when you are, in the daytime waking hours, you would find everything and anything to distract yourself. And that's what you have been doing. You've been finding, things to keep you busy. You've been finding projects. You've been working. You've been having, your family relationships, your love relationships, everything taking up your mind. And even when those things that are really, close to you aren't taking up your mind, you begin to find other things to take up that space, like listening to the news, listening to podcasts, engaging in drama with others at work, and whatever it is, you always are finding something that will kind of deflect and take away from feeling and processing your own emotions and things that have been stored in your body over this time. But at night, you really can't do that. So it's a great time if you are experiencing emotions coming up, if you are experiencing thoughts, to go ahead and let them go through your body. Let them, be there, accept what is happening and feel into them fully. And I can remember almost vividly times where I would resist emotions, but then think, okay, I'm going to accept it. But it was only like a partial acceptance because there was still like a fear there of going all the way. Now, this is the time for you to truly go all the way, to feel that emotion. If it brings you tears, if it brings you laughter, if it brings you, grief or sorrow, whatever, allow it to be there and process and move through. I know that working with people a lot of times in counseling, people would come in and talk about things that they did need to process, but they were very comfortable talking and talking and talking about it as long as they were doing something like talking and telling that story. But as soon as there was empty space to let it process, there was this resistance there, and they seemed to want to fill that space. So there's a call right now for you to allow yourself to let those emotions go through you. And if you do have almost the blessing of being able to be awakened in the night and feel these things, let them process during that time. It's a great time to do so because in the daytime, it is kind of hard with all of life's distractions to be able to allow yourself to go there. So don't see sleeping or sleepless nights as a curse, as something bad. The way that I had seen it, I was very frustrated with it. But when I started to accept it, I could see that this was a time for me to really go deeper, to really allow these areas of myself to, be moved through and to shed. And as soon as I did that, my sleeping problems began to like go away. I began to get more rest. I began to feel more at peace. I discovered aspects of myself that I had never known. So allow yourself to go there. Allow yourself to feel that out. And other times you may not feel anything. You may not have anything going through you, but maybe you'll be called to, like I say, maybe go up and work on a craft or, listen to a video. And even those things are things that are very important because oftentimes during our waking hours, sometimes we don't take the time to do things for ourselves. I know that at the time when this happened to me, like I said, had a very young child, I had a family, I had work, I had a lot of responsibilities that even in the day when I did have any time for myself, I usually found something to fill it with that would benefit others and not myself. So allow yourself to read that book that you've been putting off for a while. Allow yourself to have any of this space at night to be your space, to be your space to explore yourself and allow any emotions that come up to move through. Now, another thing that I was, having come through today when I was listening to someone talking to me about their issues with sleep and this and that is really the distractions and things that we begin to believe. And so one of those things that, was coming through today was like the news. And so we think that, being well informed and listening to the news and, getting involved in all of these different, ways of, being an activist or, standing up for this or that, joining this group online and, talking and petitioning and doing all of these things, they sound, very wonderful. They sound like, they're going to keep us truly informed. But when we are, more focused on the outside world rather than we are within the inside world, we really do get lost. And that's why this, situation came up where this person was just, at their wits' end because they had been so involved in the news, believing everything that was being said, whether it was about, wars, whether it was about money, whether it was about, some prediction to come. It was like it was consuming the person and not allowing them to rest or even go into these emotions that are very personal. So it was all already like another huge distraction on top of the sleep issue the person was having. So if you're experiencing, issues like this, it's time to recognize something. There are two ways of, feeling things. We can either feel in a way that we feel contracted. Let's say we listen to a news story. We feel contracted. We feel small. We feel scared. We don't know what to do. Some news stories and some things that people tell us will make us feel this way. Some people will make us feel this way. Some situations will make us feel this way. Now, there are other things that we can listen to, watch, people we can be around that make us feel expanded, not contracted, but free. And it feels almost expansive and infinite. And we get like this, rush of, energy and creativity to want to go do things. And, we feel good. So there's two ways that we feel when things happen in our lives, either contracted or free. And so you have to really ask yourself, am I feeling contracted, or am I feeling free and boundless? If whatever it is that you're consuming is making you feel small, contracted, scared, it's time to get away from that. We really don't need to consume or listen to all of this information. This might upset some people that are very much into this, but one day you will truly see this, that the truest way to be aligned and the most important information to be informed about is of your own being. So when you're informed and aligned and you are aware of how your body is reacting, feeling, you are intuitive, you can feel into things, and you know what's, good for you and not so good for you. That is the most informed that you can be. If you are being informed about something happening, thousands of miles away or somewhere else, and you're feeling contracted and scared, and that's keeping you from being creative, from doing the things that are in your heart, then that is not okay. So we really have to examine that. So that little portion of what I'm speaking of right now, I'm just sharing it because there may be someone here today that is consuming too many things, that are feeling contracted, that are feeling small, that are getting scary. And there's really nothing to be scared of here. Everything is happening for you, everything is really unfolding how you want it to. We really don't know this until we really connect with ourselves deeper and deeper. And so these sleepless nights that are happening are not really there to aggravate you, to ruin your life like I used to think. They're there to give you some space, to give you some time, to give you some clarity so that you can go in and feel these things that are wanting to be felt, so that you can go in and spend some time with yourself. Because maybe during the day you're not having enough time, or you're not allocating your time in a way where you can spend time processing these things, or doing some of the things that your heart so wants to do. So, this message is to bring you back home, to expand you into the infinite being that you are. You are awakening to more and more. And soon, this sleep problem, this sleep issue that you think that you have, will no longer be a problem, will no longer be an issue. And you'll see it for what it truly is. Because right now, you are awakening, my friend, and you're awakening to so much. So, allow these things to process through you, to move through you. And so that is what today's message is about. I hope that it found you well. I hope that it resonated with you. If it did, please share this video with others so that others can get this message as well. If you are new here, thank you so much for coming by. I hope that you will subscribe. I hope that you will come back. And to all my returning viewers, I love you so much. I will catch you on our next video. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find that information in the description and in the pinned comment down below. I love you all.